Hello, friends. This is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach, and I always feel so proud and so happy to see sales professionals join me on my live sessions, which I'm doing almost every day at this time, where we come up with a new topic on sales, and this whole effort is based on a mission to empower 1 million salespersons with the science of selling before 2025. So, right at the beginning of this live session, I would like to congratulate all of you who take out your time to come and attend this live session that I'm doing every day. As people are still joining in, I would like to introduce today's topic. Sonal Khosla, you're welcome. So, today's topic of this live session is the theory of BATNA. BATNA. BATNA is an acronym, and BATNA is a concept which is used by all professional sellers on the negotiation table. It is also used by all professional buyers on the negotiation table. So, BATNA is a tool. BATNA is a tool which is used by buyers and sellers to practice the process of negotiation in a scientific manner. So, if you are hearing the word BATNA for the first time, I'll give you a background of what exactly BATNA stands for. And even if you have heard the word BATNA before, but stay on with this program to understand what exactly is BATNA and how do you make use of BATNA to practice your sales negotiation. Now, for all those of you who have joined me in this live program, it is important to understand that the acronym of BATNA is B.A.T.N.A. So it stands for Better Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. So I repeat, BATNA stands for Better Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. And I'm sure you can see that on the screen. Better alternative to a negotiated agreement. Now, what does it mean? It means that for any negotiation, there is always a better alternative. There is nothing called final negotiation. There is always a better alternative to every negotiation. Okay. Now, what is the practice of BATNA? How BATNA is created and how BATNA is used as a toolkit? We will discuss shortly. For those of you who have joined a bit late, so SK Tiwari 77, you're welcome. We are discussing BATNA as a tool for sales negotiation. Okay, fantastic. Now, if you see on the screen, there is a uh, there is a diagram which you see on the screen. And for those of you who are on Instagram, you can check out on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook for the diagram. So if you look at a grid on the screen, there's a grid line. Okay, there's a black line in the center which ends up in an arrow, which means that it is pointing in one direction. Okay, now this is an imaginary line, and anything that I'm showing above the line is what pertains to the buyer, and anything that I show below the line is what pertains to the seller. Okay, so you can see buyer's BATNA on top of the line and seller's BATNA below the line. Okay, now so far so good. Now, what is important for you to understand that when the sales negotiation process starts, there is a preference price of the seller. Okay, so you can see on the screen there's a preference price. Now, this preference price is what the seller makes, and we call it the opening offer. Okay, preference of the seller, that is the opening offer. Now, the moment the seller makes a preference price, and for example, let's assume that the seller is making an opening offer of 100, there is a neuro linguistic programming in the minds of the buyer. And the moment you make an opening offer of 100, there is something that happens in the buyer's mind, and the buyer feels he straight away deducts 20% from your offering, and he feels that you should be giving this product at 80 rupees and not at 100 rupees. So 100 rupees in this example is the seller's preference price, and 80 rupees is the buyer's preference price. Now, the buyer will not tell you that this is his preference price, but the neuro-linguistic programming inside his brain suggests that if the opening offer is 100 rupees, then you should look upon your opening preference price as 80 rupees. Okay. Why does the buyer think like this? Why does he deduct 20% from the opening offer? Why not 25? Why not 40? Why not 100? I leave it to neuro-linguistic programming at this level. So the buyer's preference is 100. I mean, the seller's preference is 100 and the buyer's preference is, let's say, 80. Okay. Now, when the seller is giving 100 rupees as the opening offer, he has a bottom line, right? So let's assume that the bottom line of the seller is 80 rupees. I'm just taking an example. So this bottom line of the seller is called the seller's B.A.T.N.A. Just like the seller has a bottom line, the buyer also has a top line. So even if the buyer feels that a preference price of 80 rupees is good for him, but he also has a top line, he says that, okay, even if I'm required to buy it for 90 rupees, I'll still buy it. So what I'm trying to show you on the screen is that there is a seller's range which starts from seller's B.A.T.N.A, in this case 80 rupees, to seller's preference price, in this case 100 rupees, and there's a buyer's B.A.T.N.A which starts from, in this case, 80 rupees and moves till 90 rupees. Okay, so the buyer has a range of 80 to 90 and the seller has a range of 80 to 100. Now, the intersection between the two range is called ZOPA. ZOPA means zone of possible agreement. So, the intersection in this particular example is what? This is 80 to 90 and this is 80 to 100, right? So, what is the intersection? If this is 80 and this is 90, mathematically this should also be somewhere here. But if it is here, so let's say the seller's B.A.T.N.A is ending at, let's say, 85. So this 85 to 90 is the ZOPA, that is zone of possible agreement. Now, for those of you who find this very technical and you feel that, oh, you're not able to understand this, and especially those of you who have joined me on Instagram, you're not able to see the slides. I mean, you can actually check on this live on LinkedIn or YouTube later onwards to check the slides. What I'm trying to say is that, let me summarize. The seller has an opening offer and the seller has a B.A.T.N.A price. So in this case, 100 rupees was the opening offer and the seller said that, okay, last come last, 85 rupees, I'll sell it. So 85 to 100 is seller's B.A.T.N.A. Now, the buyer thought, the moment the seller quoted 100, the buyer thought that the best that he can pay is 80. And the top line, he will drag it maximum till 90. So 80 to 90 is what the buyer is thinking. 85 to 100 is what the seller is thinking. So the common subset between the two is 85 to 90. And that 85 to 90 is known as zone of possible agreement. Okay, good. So if all of you have understood what is zone of possible agreement and you have understood seller's B.A.T.N.A and buyer's B.A.T.N.A, I request you to go to the comment box and say yes, because that will make me understand. I have this comment from a LinkedIn user. He says, good job, Sanjay. Thank you very much, Mr. LinkedIn user. Thank you for your support. Okay, cool. So now we have understood what is the buyer's B.A.T.N.A and what is the seller's B.A.T.N.A. Okay, some more comments coming there. Vivek Khandelwal, nice. Thank you very much, Vivek, for appreciating this. Okay, let's take this discussion to the next level. Now, you know what is the seller's B.A.T.N.A, you know what is the buyer's B.A.T.N.A. Now you must be thinking, okay, what am I supposed to do with it? This sounds too technical. How am I going to make use of this as a negotiation tool? You must be thinking like that, isn't it? Well, let me show you how exactly you will make use of it as a tool. Now, to understand how you're going to make use of this B.A.T.N.A as a tool, you have to understand I quickly get into this. Now look, you look at the B.A.T.N.A screen. There's an arrow, right? On the central line, there's an arrow. Now, what happens when you give a 5 cake options? Whatever service you are selling, whatever product you are selling, instead of just saying that I will give you just like I sell my training program. So I give 5 cake option. Like I say that you can buy my training program, that is the cake. Then I say you can buy my training program with a workbook which is customized for you. That is like the chocolate cake with one layer on top. Then I say you can buy my training program with a workbook and with 10 learning videos which I can customize for your salespeople. Another layer on top. And then I said the fourth option is you can buy my training program with a workbook, with 10 learning videos, and with 3 months of post training tracking. Now, what have I done? I have offered my basic cake, which is sales training, with layers on top. And the more layer I add on top, of course, with every layer, I keep on increasing my price. And the more layer on top that you keep on adding, you can actually increase your preference price. And the more you're able to increase your opening offer, mathematically, you are increasing the probability of creating a positive ZOPA for yourself. In most sales negotiation, there is no ZOPA, so there is no zone of possible agreement, and we call it that the discussion has gone into a stalemate. Right? I'm sure you don't want to get into a stalemate. So when you want to enter into a negotiation, you have to create a ZOPA, because without ZOPA, there is no negotiation. And to be able to create a ZOPA, you have to keep on increasing your opening offer. Now, you cannot increase your opening offer by telling a lie. So you can increase the opening offer by creating multiple layers on top of the basic cake. If you look at the 5 cake theory, I never changed the cake. The basic cake was same. So option 2, I added chocolate topping. Option 3, I added coffee topping, and I said unlimited buying. Option 4, I made it a Barbie doll shaped cake. So the cake is the same. I just keep on changing the topping, and in with every change of topping, and I keep on changing the price. Now every time I keep on hiking the price, my ZOPA becomes mathematically feasible, because my opening offer increases. When my opening offer increases, the buyer's preference price also increases. When my opening offer increases, my bottom line increases. When the buyer's preference price increases, the buyer's top line also increases. So essentially, on this grid, the ZOPA keeps on moving forward. Correct? So, my friends, it is time to conclude. And in this conclusion, I would like to tell all of you that ZOPA is possible only if you practice the 5 cake theory. And to practice the 5 cake theory, it is very important that you are able to give 5 different options to your basic product. When you give 5 different options to your basic product, you have the official right to increase your preference price. When you end up increasing your preference price, the buyer also gives a higher bottom line to you. As per neuro-linguistic programming, the moment the buyer increases the higher bottom line, the buyer has a higher top line, and the possibility or the mathematical probability of a ZOPA getting on the negotiation table is high. And when you have a ZOPA, then you start making use of the 7 laws of sales negotiation. I have done this session earlier. You can check it out. And that's the only way you can practice the science of B.A.T.N.A to effectively power, turbocharge your sales negotiation process. So for those of you who have some questions, you can feel free to put it on the chat box so that I could answer them for you. Time for me to say goodbye. Please remember to put in your comments and put in your queries on B.A.T.N.A. I know it's not an easy subject or easy topic to be covered in 15 minutes time, but the idea is just to introduce you to the topic so that you can Google around it and come back to me if you have any further query on it. Please remember, friends, that the idea of these daily LinkedIn lives and Instagram lives and YouTube live is to ensure that you are able to inculcate all the science of selling into your selling process. So wherever you're getting stuck up, please get back to me and put in your comments so that I can come back to you. And why am I doing all this? I'm doing all this because I'm on a very strong mission of empowering 1 million salespersons with the science of selling before 2025. So, all those of you who have joined me, a big, big, big thank you to you. Help me connect to all fellow salespersons known to you so that together we can create a strong sales community which is not based only on the basis of hard work, but which is a community of salespersons who thrive because of the science of selling, powered by the art of selling. So, time for me to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you very much. I can see Bhavik Mehta joining me just now. Bhavik, I'm sorry it's time for me to close, but thank you so much for having chosen your time to get back. All right, guys, thank you very much. And please do post your comments on how did you like this session on B.A.T.N.A and do you find it useful in your sales process or not. Thank you very much. Take good care of yourself and feel happy about the fact that you chose sales as your career, because this is the only career which can give you name, fame, and money at a speed which no other career can give you. Take good care of yourself. Till we meet again tomorrow. Bye bye.